I mean, the only story of the last couple of days, and definitely still this morning, is a fallout for Fergie. Last night, 7 charities... Well, the audience has definitely shown us where they stand in the discussion. Charities have publicly cut ties with the Duchess of York over emails in which she's said to describe convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein as a supreme friend. Other charities say that they're reviewing their positions, and now the King may well be under pressure to banish her from royal circles. Katie, do you think this is fair?
I think it's always tough when we see the demise of women being celebrated in the press and seeing other people doing equally as bad things that maybe don't become the scapegoat in a way a woman or some kind of minority seems to become for a group of people.
But Mandelson got taken down for the same reasons, and he's a man and he's not a minority.
Yeah, but I just think there's something we relish about women making mistakes, and often Fergie has been seen by lots of people as a bit of a joke. You know, I haven't worked with Fergie myself, but her daughter has been really supportive of my charity. She's come to fundraisers and she's supported us. And I know from running a charity, when you get that royal connection, it helps you so much to get bums on seats at charity auctions, charity lunches. When you're doing a fundraiser, that's a money can't buy ticket.
But I don't think anyone would argue with that.
No.
But that's not the point, is it, with this story?
No, but what I'm reflecting on is it's tough for charities because often you get all different types of donors and fundraisers who are all equally as helpful. But when you get your major donors, they're often very wealthy and they're often very powerful.
But do you take those major donors then with warts and all, even if they're fraternising with a convicted paedophile?
I think it's a question of, if you look at the size of some charities compared to others, do these smaller charities have capacity to do all the due diligence on major donors? It would be very difficult.
So are you saying they're wrong to have dropped her?
I think they've done the right thing because they have to protect their beneficiaries. If they are raising money for vulnerable people, that's who they need to think about first and foremost.
And also, I suppose, it's, you know, you've got a board of people that are sat there trying to make a decision, knowing that there's a giant chunk of money that will go with no longer having her.
But this is a balancing
charity.
act, isn't it, that Jane's alluded to, and Katie has too, that charities need to raise money. The people they're raising money from, how much inspection should there be of where that money comes from? You need the money to run your charity, to go to good causes. And you need patrons, but how the patrons are chosen is something that perhaps deserves a bit more inspection and policing.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying to me is that the name of a royal, even though she was a non-royal by the time she was made patron of all these charities, she was a royal from the past. You're implying that even that distant association is good enough to bring in more money, which I, quite frankly, find quite appalling.
I mean, I have met Sarah several times.
Well, she's been on this show.
She's been on this show, of course, when we've all been here. She's a very nice, very positive person. And I think a lot of what you might call mistakes that she's made over her kind of life in the Royal Goldfish Bowl and slightly outside of it could be forgiven as certain human frailties, you know? But on this occasion, I don't think so, because 2 years after she made a public apology for remaining friends with Jeffrey Epstein after he had been convicted and gone to prison for the procurement of a minor for purposes of prostitution, she did this public thing, disowning him. 1 month later, she sends this email behind the scenes saying, "You're a supreme friend. Sorry I publicly disowned you, but it was, you know, I was going to lose my children's book deal or whatever." Andrew Lowney, who wrote entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York, who spent years analysing their fairly dubious financial deals, her and Andrew, has said that 2 years after that email, she was allegedly staying in Epstein's flat in New York. So I don't think this is a human frailty situation anymore.
I think
she's got what she deserves.
If she'd been honest about this when, you know, a lot of the blow-up happened regarding her ex-husband and Jeffrey Epstein, do you think the outcome could have been slightly different if she'd just simply opened up?
Well, the problem with Sarah Ferguson is she's a babbler. She babbles about her. She's always sorry. She's always, you know, can't believe this has happened. I think she doesn't seem to listen to people giving her good advice, which is one of the reasons why, as we said yesterday, Prince Philip wanted nothing to do with her, wanted her removed from the royal family, because she lacks judgment. She's lacked judgment in her choice of friends. You might say she's lacked judgment in her choice of staying with her ex-husband. And now she's lacked judgment because she's dragged her daughters, who are completely innocent in all of this. They are kind of dragged into a scandal that's not of their making.
Yeah. Well, today, Sarah Ferguson has given no comment when we approached her spokespeople, but yesterday, a spokesperson said that the email was written because she feared legal reprisals from Epstein, and added that the Duchess stood by her public condemnation of Jeffrey Epstein. So it's a story that I think we'll probably hear a lot more of as the days go on.